Hey everybody, my name is Bill Morocco. The name of our company is Concrete Coating Marketers, and the subject of the video today is what are the money keywords for the concrete coating business? Okay, now first of all, let me define a keyword real quick. I know you know what one is, but a keyword is simply a word that you're going to type in the Google bar, and you can see we typed in epoxy floors, and up will pop what are called initially paid ads, Google AdWords. Down below paid ads, you're going to find what we call the 3-pack. And down below the 3-pack, you'll have organic listings. Okay, now, not all keywords are created equal. Let me first talk about the buying cycle. When somebody buys something, basically it's a funnel. Step number one of that buying cycle is awareness. People just become aware of the product. Number two, they're interested. They develop an interest. Number three is when they go online and they're going to learn a little more about that particular product. Number four, they're going to shop. Number five, they're going to buy. Now, you want to think about where your keywords fall within that buying cycle. I'm going to change the term money, and I'm going to change that term to transactional, okay? And let me bring up another keyword type that we'll be talking about, and that's called an educational keyword. Okay. Now, for the record, there are many different types of keywords. We're going to have long tail keywords, negative keywords. Now, an educational keyword is an early stage keyword. You're essentially looking at a person using that keyword is usually looking to get more information about this on the subject. And what we're going to do today is we're going to compare transactional keywords versus educational keywords. And we'll look at some of the keywords in the concrete coating business. A transactional keyword is a late stage keyword where a consumer is in the buy mode as opposed to the learn mode. Let me give you a quick story. I was in the floor coating business, and I was in the process of selling floor coating jobs in the past. Now, my main business at the time was terrazzo restoration and concrete polishing, with terrazzo restoration kind of being the main thing that I was doing at the time. I had a couple crews going at the time, doing very well with it. And when I'd sell terrazzo, essentially I'd get a phone call from somebody who usually just bought a house, and they discovered they had terrazzo in the house. They didn't know it, and it looked pretty good, and they'd give me a call asking what we could do. Very easy sale. I did great with it. I wanted to expand, and I went into floor coating. Okay, when I initially created an AdWords campaign, I used the term epoxy floors, which is a high volume, and it just made sense to me at the time. It was a high volume term in regards to floor coating, in the floor coating industry. Now, many of the leads I was getting were just not good. The results were not good. I was getting a lot of people I get a phone call. They had an interest. They'd ask me a few questions. I really didn't get any appointments. And it just was very, very frustrating. Nobody was really interested in getting installation. I just wanted more information. And if you take me, for example, before I entered the epoxy coating business, I didn't know what epoxy was. To be honest with you, I wasn't aware of what it was, and my first step was to probably type epoxy in the search bar on Google, just to learn more. What is it? The next keyword was more than likely epoxy floors or epoxy flooring. These keywords are essentially educational keywords. On the other hand, if somebody's looking to coat their garage, they would probably type garage floor epoxy into the search bar. They already know what epoxy is, and they're interested in getting an epoxy garage floor for the garage. Okay, now let me switch over to the Google Keyword Planner, and we're going to take a look at a few keywords here. Number one, you'll see that epoxy floors gets a lot of activity. It's one of the more searched keywords in the epoxy flooring business. Okay, now let's look at some of the other keywords. Not all keywords are created equal. Garage floor coating is a buyer's keyword. The metallic epoxy floor, definitely a buying keyword. They've looked into epoxy. They probably looked at some pictures of metallic or maybe seen some metallic flooring jobs and decided they like it and they want to get more information on it. Okay, now garage epoxy, so-so. Polyaspartic floor coating. If somebody types in polyaspartic floor coating into the search bar, they are very familiar with epoxy and they're more or less buyers. Resin flooring, not so. I wouldn't say that would be a great keyword to use for an AdWords campaign. And again, it pertains whether or not you're doing SEO, but especially if you're doing pay-per-click advertising. If you're paying $7 to $10 per click, you want to use keywords that people are ready to buy. They may eventually buy, but I prefer getting an appointment right after somebody calls me or sends me an email. They already know what the benefits are, and they're more than likely in a buy mode. Now, I do use these. I do look at the keywords I use when we do SEO, but when it comes to pay-per-click advertising, there could be a lot of money involved, and you want to use the correct keywords in that situation. Now, if you have any questions on what I covered today, feel free to give me a call. My name again is Bill Morocco, and our number here is 954-642-1019. We appreciate you listening.